Hello and welcome to another episode of So What Do You Actually Do? Today I got the chance to interview Nicholas, who works as a flight attendant for a major United States airlines. As a flight attendant, his main responsibility is the safety of the passengers. He is trained in what to do if there is an emergency landing, fire inside the plane, physical assaults from passengers, and generic medical issues. Aside from the responsibilities, Nicholas shares the pros and cons of his job. He explains how you don't always choose your destinations, whether that be nationally or internationally, and how seniority plays a really big role in that decision making. He also shares his salary and how you can make anywhere between $20,000 and upwards of $200,000+. If you want to learn more about Flight Attendant or a little bit more about Nicholas, please check his YouTube channel in the link down below. And without further ado, let's dive right at the interview. Golden question of the day. What do you actually do as a flight attendant?
So the main function of a flight attendant is to keep the passengers safe while they're traveling to their destination. Emergencies could happen at any time, and we have to be trained to be able to evacuate an aircraft if need be, whether it be in the water, on the ground, whether it be adverse conditions around the aircraft. So that is the main function of our job, is to be that safety person if need be. What people might think we mostly do is just serve them in the air, keep them company as far as serving drinks and snacks. That is what most people see. That is a big component of our job, because to differentiate different airlines, the services and the speed is kind of what they focus on, being on time, going to different destinations. And also, if there's a medical event, we're supposed to be trained on different medical events that come up, as far as taking care of that passenger if there was a need for that.
You touch on medical event, and the first question that comes to mind, I guess, are flight attendants CPR certified and almost like a first respondent trained to some extent?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of the basic things that we do learn. CPR is one of them. We do get reevaluated on our CPR knowledge as well. Are able to call for a doctor on board if need be. That's the first thing that we try to do. We do have different technologies where we are able to talk to a doctor on the ground and have them guide us through whatever situation that might have. There's like first aid kits that have different like medicines or blood pressure cuffs, checking the heart. We do have AEDs that we're trained to use. So a lot of baseline things we are trained on, specific events as far as seizures and someone passing out. So a lot of the baseline things we are trained on.
Are you mainly doing national flights, or you're doing international routes as well?
So everything's based off of seniority. The longer that you've been there, the better trips that you have, the more opportunity for you to get the trips that you want and to keep the trips that you want. I have done a good amount of international. Last summer, I was able to go to Amsterdam pretty periodically, like at least twice a month. Right now, I'm working different days. Last year I was working on the weekends. Now I'm working more on the weekdays, and at my seniority, I cannot hold international at this time. Maybe a few random weekends, but I'm choosing not to work weekends. So recently my trips have been domestic trips, and you can kind of pick and choose what cities you'd like to go through. So I have, let's say, DC, San Francisco, Philadelphia on my wish list, and last month I went to Philly and San Francisco, whatnot. So for me at my seniority, yes, I am doing more domestic, but if I wanted to work the weekends, I could probably sneak in maybe one international trip a month or so.
It's just going down the neighborhood on an international, knocking on Holland's door twice a month.
Something like that. It's kind of like a little vacation. Like, oh, looks like I'm going to London tomorrow. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna bring back? And it's kind of cool.
That's really cool. In a typical month, how many trips are you normally taking?
So it really depends. You can work as much as you want. You can work as little as you want. We're able to put our trips up for pickup, so other flight attendants take them from us. or we can swap around trips. So you can actually work as much as you want. There is a minimum amount of hours required to keep your health insurance and your benefits, but that is kind of negligible. The typical flight attendant might be scheduled, it depends on the season, um, 70, 75 flight hours per month. And that's not actually including time away from base. So let's say my trip that I'm working this Monday is worth 17-hour flight hours. That means 17-hour flight hours. We're in the air for 17 hours, but we might be away from home for like 55 hours during that 3-day period. Or we can do like a 1-day trip where we're flying, let's say 4 hours, but we're gone for 12 hours. There's different ratios of like flying in the air and being gone from home, but you could work, let's say 20 days in a month. You can work, let's say 3 days in a month. It really depends on how much you actually want to fly.
Okay, so it boils down to your preference. You get to choose your hours, and they have a schedule. You put your availability and how many hours you want, and then they pull you into whichever flights they would like, or do you also get to choose, I want that flight, that route?
So it's based on total schedule value for the base. So they're going to give us a certain amount regardless. And then if we want to work less, we have to do something in our own to reduce our hours. Or if we want to work more, we go into the system from other people and we grab those trips to add more hours to yourself. But the scheduling is like a computer system. You give things points. Let's say I want Washington, D.C., I'm gonna give that points. San Francisco, I'm gonna give that points. And the stuff that has the most points, let's say 3-day trips, international, Europe, or whatever, it's gonna say, I want this more, but it's gonna go down in seniority order. So number one is gonna get their stuff first. Whatever's left is gonna go to the subsequent order. And let's say I'm number 18,282 out of the system, or I'm number 1,200 out of Detroit. I'm gonna get my stuff when it comes to my turn, and then people under me get whatever they want for their trips.
Got it. Seems like these are very specific numbers. We just ran into them a couple of days ago.
They're real numbers. We have a lot of flight attendants, and I'm like in the middle of Detroit.
Yeah. Wow. 2 more questions for you and we'll wrap the episode. How much is the pay range for a job such as flight attending?
Yeah, like I say, you can work as many hours as you want, as little hours as you want. That entails maybe if you work the baseline hours just to be able to keep your benefits. Let's say you make 20K. Let's say you want to really, really push yourself and you don't really care about work-life balance. You can make over 200,000. Let's say the company might say that we might make a baseline of 91K at the top, working basic hours. Let's say in the beginning, they might say you make a baseline of like 41K working an average shift, but it really depends. You could work like 45 hours a month. You can work 150 hours a month. You can work 200 hours a month. It's basically about how much money you want to make. You can definitely make 6 figures, and you can make money that is like poverty. It just depends. But at the baseline, let's say at the bottom, you might make 40K for not doing more than what you're given. And let's say at the top baseline, you're not giving more than you're not working more than you give, you might make 91K, but 6 figures can happen easily.
Got it. Last but not least, what kind of advice would you get to give anyone who's interested in pursuing a career in flight attending?
If you're thinking about being a flight attendant, I would suggest that you become a pilot instead. If you have the means, become a pilot, because pilots make lots of money. But if you don't want to go down that route that takes years, time, and money, just apply. A lot of people apply to these positions. There's a lot of different airlines. I would suggest not working for a regional airline because they make the least amount of money. I would focus on in the US applying for the top 5 airlines and look at the bases, like where they have is the city you might have to commute, but you really only need a college degree and you need to be a good interviewer and then you can get the job. Just if you're safety oriented, if you have a will to learn service, you'll do great at this job. But if you want to be a flight attendant, be a pilot instead.
Nicholas, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate the insight you've given us. I have never spoken to a flight attendant on a deep conversation of what they do. I've only seen them do their work. So thank you for shedding the light. And hope you're always safe up in the air. And I hope to run into you one day.
Yeah, come on. I fly a decent amount, not as much as I used to, but it would be so cool to run into you, and I'll give you the special treatment because everyone is special. But I feel like I got you.
Thank you. I'll make sure that I'll hit that button when I see you. Oh, Nicholas. Everyone watching, thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed, and don't forget that the thing we're needing most now is comments in the bottom about how we're doing and referrals for people that you'd want us to interview. And with that, we hope you have a great rest of your day.